Welcome to Rack of the Week 174. This is going to be the worst. I'll tell you what I mean in a second, but in the meantime, check out this cool shirt I'm wearing. I did a rack order for this pool hall, Rudy's Place in Aurora, Illinois, and they gave me this awesome shirt and some other swag, and which reminds me, if you haven't noticed already, Onboard Sportswear is now partnered with me, Shortstop on Pool. You can buy a T-shirt, a jersey like this one, actually with the straight collar, or a long sleeve jersey, zip up, at Onboard Sportswear with the SSOP logo, Shortstop on Pool logo, and you can put your own custom name on it and name on the back. So those are available right now. I think there's 4 different colors, any size you want. Please check them out. Ghost Aimers and Bridgemates continue to sell, and I'm managing to keep them in stock, so check out my website for those. So let's get into this week's Rack of the Week. I call it the worst. You know, every week I show a rack of straight pull where I or someone else successfully runs a rack and learn lessons from those. But there's lessons to be learned from things that are done wrong or mistakes that are made too. I'm just having trouble figuring out how to work those into my videos. But this may be one of the worst racks that I'm ever going to feature on my channel. I don't like the way I ran this rack, and I'm not going to talk much about it, but there's several things going on. And another thing that's going on is check out this cue ball. I bought one of these red Bumblebee cue balls. I thought it'd be cool. It's a training cue ball, and I thought it'd be cool to play with it because some people have requested, they want to see the spin. They want me to talk about what spin am I using, left, right, up, down, draw, follow, whatever. But with this cue ball, you can see that, and I thought that might be a good addition to the Rack of the Week. You can see it better than the measles cue ball, but I don't think it's a good cue ball. Not for playing. It's fine for training with. I feel like, well, the size is wrong, and you can see in this picture, it's just a hair. It might be like a 32nd or a 64th of an inch larger than the other balls. Now, that shouldn't really matter for the cue ball. And I weighed it, and it's almost exactly 6 ounces. It's not made by one of the top companies like Aramith. So I'm not sold on this cue ball, and I've tried playing with it, and I'll use that as an excuse. The cue ball was bad. That's my excuse for playing bad, which is a terrible excuse. But anyway, this is one of the worst racks you're ever going to see. Let's get through this one real quick. I'm going to take my stuff off the screen so you can see the front view and the overhead view together. Okay, shallow angle on this break shot. That means I'm going to probably hit it pretty hard and low on the cue ball, just kind of stun the cue ball off the rack. Something like that. Hit it hard enough so that you get that corner ball. The 3 ball, I'm sure, was the corner ball of the rack, and so it went out for the side pocket. So that's great. I know when I'm looking at this, I don't have a break ball, so I've got to figure something out. And I could have shot the 11, and that would have gotten me on the 10. What I'm thinking about is this is a 3-ball sequence at 10, 3, 2. And then I'm going to cut the 2 ball and run into these. That's not the best plan, but that's what I came up with. And for that reason, I'm leaving the 11 along with the 1 for insurance balls after I run into this cluster. So really the whole rack is kind of dependent on that. So now I've got an angle on this 10. I'm going to have to follow forward so I don't hit the 2. I can't get an angle to go into the rack. Well, I guess I could have hit it to brought the cue ball up here and then cut this and gone into the rack, but I'm just sticking with this plan, so I'm just going to stun forward a tiny bit to preserve an angle. Well, that's not a tiny bit, but I've got a good angle where I can bridge real comfortably. And let's see if I can just split the 7 and 4. Like I said, this is the worst. There's got to be better ways to go at this. But not every Rack of the Week that I make is going to be great. Some of them aren't going to be as good as others, and I'm calling this one the worst. So, but take from it what you wish, and let me know your thoughts. So having done that shot worked out fine. I have 2 insurance balls. The 7 and the 8 could each be a break ball. So what I'm doing right now is I played this softly knowing that I'm going to have the 9, but I'm really playing for this window on the 12 because I want to get rid of that ball, that stripe. That kind of clears this stuff up a little bit. They're still a little bit congested. This 14 does not go by the 7, so I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but I know I just wanted to roll that in to get on the 9. I didn't want to get on the 6 yet. The 11 has to be cleared before the 8 will go, but if the 8 ends up being the break ball, is that the 8 or the 4, whichever that one that is? If that ends up being the break ball, then that's not a big concern. So what am I doing here? Okay, That's one other reason why I said this is the worst. That was, the shot worked out, but I don't think that was the right shot. I think the right shot might have been to hold the cue ball on this side of the 6 and then come this way and try and do something. Anyway, I'm not talking about this wreck very much. Why not? Oh, because it's the worst. I like this shot. In other words, I'm not using the 7 for break ball, but I like spinning around this way because I'm going to have a shot on the 6. If it rolled farther, I would have a shot on the 14. Or I would have a shot on the 11. If it went farther, I'd have the 14 or the 6. So I wish I could say I had a real good plan for an end pattern here. I do have 2 break balls, the 6 and the 4. And then I can use the 6 to get on the 4 or the 12 ball to get on the 14. I hit this ball a little bit too soft. If it had come farther, I probably would have used the 14 as a break ball because here, I'm going to stop this for the first time. I was hoping the cue ball to come farther because then I can shoot the 8. You slide over here for the 6. You shoot the 6 and you're right on the correct angle to cut this ball in the corner and then just go to the rail and off and you're on the 14 ball break shot. So that's not the worst. That's if I would have gotten the cue ball there, but I didn't. So now I have to shoot the 14 ball as a break ball. Looks like I'll have to go to the 6. Yeah, and this is terrible, but this is what I did. Sometimes you got to do these things to get through the rack because you just don't get the cue ball where you're needed or you're just not thinking straight. So now I've got to get the cue ball. I want this angle, so I got to get the cue ball all the way back over to this rail and off and hope I can get that angle and then just stun up for the 4 ball as the break shot. So, oh, and I got the wrong angle, so I have to follow forward. And you want to put a little bit of spin on this, and I put a lot of bit of spin on it. So it just came way too short out of the corner, and so I'm too shallow. If I had a little bit less spin, I would have gone like here and then to here, and that would have been ideal. So anyway, this rack's the worst. We're calling this one the worst. So shallow angle again, which is terrible. It's the worst. What I want to do is skim across the top of the rack to the rail and out the center table. But I've got to hit it pretty hard. So this is center ball, a little bit of left, not a lot. But center ball and hit this hard, hard, hard. Wow, and I barely got any balls to move. That was a really shallow angle. You could probably tell from the overhead. And then I'm lucky to get through here. This is the worst. This is a terrible result. My only shot is to back cut this ball. And you can tell from the overhead, if you look from the cue ball to the ghost ball, it's not quite 90 degrees. So that's why it's cuttable, but it's pretty close. So you got to be good at cutting these balls. It does come up quite often in straight pool. And that worked out pretty well. And let's hope things get better. But that rack was the worst. Tell me what you think in the comments. That's all for this week. Next week, we'll have a better rack of the week. And of course we will, because it can't get any worse than this one. And I hope you enjoyed that and got a little laugh. And remember, if you're going to play straight pool, play it straight. And I'll see you next week on Rack of the Week. Bye.